Why do we get less cheering than Todd got? Let's go. Let we have instruments. We're the ones that got you out of school today. Come on. That's right. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time of day we are. Welcome to Jazz for Young People. This is Who is Count Basie? We're going to learn about the early music of Count Basie. I'm Wynton Marsalis, and we are the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. Now we're going to, okay, you can give me something. Don't waste all your cheering in the beginning. We're going to start with a piece entitled Jumping at the Woodside. Let's see what we're talking about in here this morning. Dan Nimmer on the piano, Sherman Irby, Kenny Rampton, Walter Blanding on the tenor saxophone, Victor Goins on the clarinet. Now the piece we just heard was entitled Jumping at the Woodside. It's an example of the classic Count Basie orchestra style. It featured things we're going to talk about today: 4/4 swing, call and response of reeds and brass, dramatic changes in volume, it got loud and soft, and an elegant, direct touch on the piano. These are all basic elements of jazz that define Count Basie's way of playing throughout his 50 years of band leading. Basie was born in Red Bank, New Jersey in 1904. I want y'all to remember some of these facts because we're going to ask you questions, and if you don't get these questions right, we're going to lock the doors to this theater, and you're not going to be able to get out until we break all this equipment down. From an early age, Count Basie was very personable and a lovable kid, but he was also a master at what we call getting by. Now, to get by means you always can find a charming way to get what you want. Basie was a smooth talker. And in his early teens, he used his powers of persuasion to talk himself not into a cell phone or into wasting some time. He found a way to talk himself into a job at a local movie house called the Palace Theater. After a short time there, Basie ended up being Mr. Everything. He swept up the aisles, he polished the brass railings, he welcomed people. And on special occasions, he was even allowed to help the projectionists run the film. Now, back in those days, movies didn't have any sound. There was no talking, no music, only picture. The musical soundtrack was provided by a house pianist or an organist. Sometimes, if they had enough money, they would have a whole band or orchestra, but that was only for the biggest theaters. Certainly was nothing in Red Bank with that. A good theater pianist had to create musical moods that matched the emotions and actions on the screen. Think about that. This meant that they had to really understand the effect of different types of music on the emotions of an audience. And they had to know how certain tones and colors and rhythms and tempos created different atmospheres. Now, we don't have a film today. We're going to be the film. But we do have a master of atmospheric piano playing from Milwaukee. His name is Dan Nimmer. And let's see what we can ask him to do. Let's see. What emotion would you like him to evoke? What are you interested in hearing him do? Sad. Okay, let's start with sad. Sad. You turned my computer off. And you're making me eat vegetables. And I have math homework. Angry? Okay, angry. Let's see angry. Get off of the phone. Eat those vegetables. Shut up. Happy? Okay, happy. Let's see about happy. I'm not doing anything ever. Bored? Wait, okay. What? Okay. Wait a second. This is not the presidential debate. Wait. Hold on. We have to have one person say something. What is it? Bored. Okay. That's it. That one. We're going to see what it sounds like to be bored. If you're bored, you're boring. Working in the theater every day, young Basie came to understand many effective ways to... Are you still holding your hand about the moods? Okay, you know what? Just because you're standing up playing with your hair, tell me, what is it you want to hear? Can he play? Can he be excited? Okay, well, he just had a little young son named Leo, so let's see about his excitement at seeing his new baby. Okay, what about Dan Nimmer? Let's hear about his excitement at changing diapers. Okay, so every day Basie was working in the theater and he came to understand many effective ways to use music in this accompanying role. Now here's the first word that I want y'all to learn today. Let's say accompany. Accompany. Who can tell me what it means to accompany? Yes. That's exactly it. You do something with or for someone else. That's important to learn. One of the greatest tools to use when accompanying is silence. Being quiet allows you to accompany. One afternoon at the theater, the house pianist failed to show up. Who do you think snuck over to the piano and improvised a soundtrack to an entire film? Who do y'all think did that? It's got to be Basie. This is who this is about. Who is it? He wasn't Count Basie yet, he was Bill Basie. And no one could believe the music that Lil Basie was making. And when the movie ended, Basie was so good, guess what happened? He had a new job. And the person who didn't show up stayed home. Let that be a lesson to you about jobs. If you got a job, stay on it. After a while, Basie realized how much he wanted to get out into the world. He loved show business, and he was so dedicated to music that he actually dropped out of school at age 14. I don't want you to get ideas. Those were gentler times. That kind of stuff happened then. Basie began playing as many gigs as New Jersey had to offer. Now, if you think about dropping out at 14, I want you to go to New Jersey and see how many gigs you think you're going to get now. You'll stay in school. Somebody knows about that. In the summer of 1924, Basie moved to Harlem, New York. It was at that time home to the most competitive pianists in the world. James P. Johnson, Lucky Roberts, Willie the Lion Smith. Let me hear y'all say those names. James P. Johnson. Lucky Roberts. Willie the Lion Smith. And the great Fats Waller. Okay, you're giving me a lot. They all held court in Harlem's dance halls, nightclubs, and theaters, and each one of them had a virtuoso technique and a distinctive style. And you know what else they did? They liked to compete with each other. So one would go to the other and say, you can't play this, and the next would say, you can't play this, and the other would say, you can't play that. But Basie was such a promising musician and a nice person that these pianists were happy to help him. Now I want y'all to remember what we said about accompanying. I'm getting y'all out of school. At least act like you're listening to me. Okay? Fats Waller was a tremendous entertainer, a pianist, a comic, and a composer. He was also house organist at the most fabulous movie palace in Harlem, the Lincoln Theater. Of course, Basie told Fats, man, I played in theaters too. I know how to do this stuff. And of course, Fats loved Basie and took him under his wing. He brought Basie to the Lincoln Theater and showed him the secret to making an organ sound like an entire band. He also taught Basie the correct way to play stride piano. Who in here can tell me what stride piano is? I know you don't know this, but tell me. Yeah. You. I'm looking right at you. Don't be shy. Stand up and tell me. Well, okay, that's close enough. Shh. What is it? I like the beginning of it, kind of like That's always a good humble way to start in case it's not right. Kind of like Like a what? It's like a piano, that's right. Okay, who can tell? That's all right, you stood up, I'll give you credit. It's like getting out on the dance floor. You don't have to look good at first. Yes. Piano that's with the white keys. And the black keys are white. No. But I like that. That's very inventive. Yes. Stand up and tell me. Don't be shy. You burning a hole in that seat. Come on. I'm just going to tell y'all in a second. What you saying? What is stride piano? Who can tell me? It's a different kind of piano. It's a different type of piano playing. Okay, let me say. In stride piano, the left hand plays the oompa of a marching band, and the right hand plays all kind of figures. Let's listen to it. Listen to just the left hand. Okay, now the left hand has to play this steady beat, and on top of it, the right hand does all kind of stuff. He's playing better since his new baby. Now Harlem was only Count Basie's first stop, because you see, Count Basie was born to travel. As soon as he could, he joined the Vaudeville Road Show, which was just a theater troupe, and he took off to see the country. At some point, Basie's concept of the United States came mainly from movies. He had accompanied dozens of cowboy and Indians films at the Palace Theater, so when his train rolled into Oklahoma, he stayed up all night, staring out the window in search of a cattle stampede. Instead, he found bassist Walter Page and his Blue Devils. That was a band known across the Midwest territory for stampeding the blues away. The minute Basie heard that powerful rhythm section, he was inspired. Just the sheer joy on the bandstand. Young Bill Basie knew that he had found his calling. And the Blue Devils were like a family. We rehearsed that yesterday and they did it. Now the Blue Devils, they traveled together. They ate together, they rehearsed. And of course, like any real good family, they fought together. But ultimately, they loved each other and they loved playing together. And when they got on the bandstand, the trumpeter Hot Lips Page, Buster Smith on the saxophone, and the vocalist Jimmy Rushing, well, their music was so joyous that even the saddest song lifted people to a higher place. Now, Basie was just 23 when he heard the Blue Devils for the first time. Instantly, he knew that this was where he belonged. The feeling was so deep that for the rest of his life, Count Basie was fond of saying, once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. Let me hear y'all say that. Once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. Okay, let me hear y'all wake me up and say it with some feeling. Once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. Okay, let's check out a tune whose title was inspired by the true actions of a family. It's called Squabbling. And this is going to show you how the Blue Devils played. Squabbling. One, two, Jackson. Ali Jackson on the drums. Dan Nimmer. Ted Nash. Victor Goins. Anthony Hervey. Paul Netzella. Now the Blue Devils stomped the blues away all through the Midwestern territories. But of all the cities in the Midwest, I want y'all to concentrate on this. Kansas City was the jewel. It was also a hotbed of corruption. Let me hear y'all repeat after me. Say corruption. Corruption. Who can tell me what corruption is? What is corruption? It's a what? Hold on a second. Wait, hold on. We got a little young politician here. Wait. What is it? It's a what? It's a misuse of power. That's one good word description of it, but there are other ways to corrupt something. Okay, that's misuse of power is one way. What else? What we got? What is it? To destroy? That's good too. To destroy, to mess up, to corrupt, to abuse. Now, let's think about it. I want y'all to know about this word so that you can get a running start on fighting against it your entire life. Because you're never going to become too old for that. So when you get home today, I want you to ask Mom and Daddy, what is corruption? And how can I start fighting it now? Okay? Corruption. Let's think about our words. Accompany. Let me hear y'all say accompany. Corruption. Fats Waller. James P. Johnson. Stride Piano. Palace Theater. Once a Blue Devil. What? 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 Ooh. Now let me tell y'all a story about our country. At this time, alcohol was illegal in our country. That's beer and stuff like that that y'all need to stay away from. It was called prohibition. And prohibit is another good word for us. Can somebody tell me what prohibit means? What is prohibit? Yes. How do y'all get smart in all these words? Man, I need to upgrade these scripts. That's right. These kids have gotten smart over these last 25 years of doing this. That's right. To prevent. Did you Google that? You didn't have enough time. That's right. Prohibit. I prohibit you from talking when we're doing this. You are prohibited from speaking when the band is playing. Fake like you're listening. Okay. Now there was a mayor of Kansas City named Pendergast, and he practiced good, clean, honest corruption. He made sure that alcohol flowed, and it ruined everybody's liver, but it kept the dance halls, nightclubs, and night spots open into the wee hours of the morning, where impromptu jam sessions turned into all-out battles, or what we call cutting contests. Now, cutting contests just means you take your horn out or your instrument and say, I play better than you, and then we see. We're going to give you an example of a nice trumpet battle we have set up. Two gentlemen who are not that fond of each other. They've been seen arguing on street corners and doing all kinds of stuff. They're going to get a chance to settle it right up here on this bandstand. Mr. Anthony Hervey and Mr. Greg Gisbert. Greg Gisbert, Anthony Hervey. Now let me tell you what happened. the competitiveness of playing with other musicians brought the general level of musicianship to a higher level. Why? You didn't want to get embarrassed. And it also created a genuine sense of pride amongst the best musicians. I did not get my head cut by you. Now, once again, Basie was in the right place at the right time. He became a blue devil, and they stomped the blues away all through the Midwest. But in Kansas City, which I told you was the jewel, the most successful and beloved band belonged to another pianist. His name was Benny Moten. Let me hear y'all talk about Benny Moten. Benny Moten. Benny Moten. Mayor Pendergast. Kansas City. Corruption. Prohibition. Now the Moten Orchestra was like a hometown team. Basie couldn't believe the precision and the soul of Moten's orchestra. He had a crazy dream to join that band. Now, why is that crazy? Why is it crazy for Basie to think he's going to join Benny Moten's band? Because of what? I can't hear you. Basie thought he was good too. It's not just because they were good. Why do you think? He was already in a band. What instrument did Benny Moten play? Huh? Yeah. What instrument did Basie play? Yeah. Well, why was it crazy for him to think he was going to join Benny Moten? Nobody is carrying two pianos around to gigs. Nobody's carrying it. Piano is a big instrument. If you have one, if you have enough money for one, you'll never buy another one. It's like luggage. You understand what I'm saying to you? Let me find my place in this script. Nah, most people would give up, but not Count Basie. He was determined to join Moten's orchestra, so he befriended Moten's arranger, the trombonist and guitarist, Mr. Eddie Durham. Eddie Durham was a genius. He had many skills. Amongst them, he was the inventor of the electric guitar. Most importantly, Mr. Durham alone knew how to utilize the melodies, harmonies, and rhythms of Southwestern music he had grown up with in Texas to make any kind of song sound like Kansas City swing. Now, his arrangements were the very identity of Moten's orchestra. Moten couldn't just get rid of Eddie Durham. If he got rid of Eddie Durham, that was it for his band. Now, here's Eddie Durham, friends with Count Basie. In 1929, Durham got Basie hired as an assistant arranger for the Moten Orchestra. He's trying to sneak Basie up in there. After a while, all the cats in the band started to notice, man, we sound much better with Basie playing the piano than we sound with you, Benny. Soon, Durham convinced Benny Moten to stand in front of the band and conduct it and just let Basie play the piano. He said, man, you look too good to have your back turned to the audience with all that non-piano playing you're doing. Turn around and look at the people and show them your shoes and let a real piano player play. And you know Moten went for it? He hired Count Basie to be the piano player in his band. Now we're going to show you why he listened to Eddie Durham. This is an example of the art of Eddie Durham. It shows how he could turn an American popular song like Rodgers and Hart's The Blue Room, which is dee-doo-doo-doo-dee-doo, this kind of music, into stomping, hard-driving Kansas City swing. This is an example of what Count Basie heard every night from the Moten Orchestra, The Blue Room. All right. Now that's why Moten listened to Eddie Durham when he said keep Basie. Victor Goins on the tenor saxophone. Ted Nash on the clarinet. Sherman Irby on the alto. Anthony Hervey on the trumpet. So instead of firing Basie, Durham convinced Moten to bring in other members of the Blue Devils. First of all, Walter Page came in on the bass with a big beat. Hot Lips Page joined on the trumpet. Dan Minor played the trombone. And let's not forget the singer, Mr. Jimmy Rushing. His nickname was Mr. 5x5 because he was as wide as he was tall. Oh, yes. I guess y'all like the singing more than y'all like the trumpet and the trombone playing. Mr. Rushing sang the blues with unmatched clarity. Let me hear y'all say Benny Moten. Blue Devils. Count Basie. Kansas City. Corruption. Accompaniment. Okay. Now these musicians played written arrangements with spontaneity. Here's another word. Say spontaneity. Who can tell me what spontaneity means? It means to be what? How do y'all? To be spontaneous. Well, you can't use the word itself in describing it now. Come on. But that's right. Yes. Spontaneity. What does that mean? What does it mean? I can't hear you. I'm a little older. I'm going deaf. It means to do something in that instant or immediately without forethought. Boy, this I gotta watch y'all over here. Great, that was a great answer. You get the honor of taking the piano off this bandstand later. That's what spontaneous means. That's right. Okay, now this is not easy to look at some written music and play it with spontaneity. Each of these musicians played with an unmistakably individual sound. And that's the thing that they were most proud of. No one can play this instrument like this but me. When they played together, forget about it. Now, although they played many things well, the blues was their specialty. I want to hear y'all tell me, say, the blues. Y'all not saying it right. The blues. We're going to hear some blues. So when you go back to school and you go around your friends, if you don't remember anything except we got y'all out of school this morning, I want you to say, they got us out of school this morning. I wasn't really paying attention, but I did hear some blues sung by Mr. Chris Crenshaw. Let's see about it. This is Good Morning Blues and an example of the way that this orchestra, the Moten Orchestra, was just swinging. Chris Crenshaw. Chris Crenshaw. Dan Nimmer. Kenny Rampton. Now, in 1935, Benny Moten died suddenly after an operation, and Basie then formed his own band. It was a 9-piece group that broadcasted across the country from a local spot called the Reno Club. Now we're going to learn something about the music we've been hearing. Now I want y'all to remember, we said that Basie loved the rhythm section when he first heard the Blue Devils. Who can tell me what the rhythm section is? What are the instruments in the rhythm section? Yes. The piano, that's one. Who can tell me another one? What? The bass, that's another one. Who can tell me? The what?
Should have been.
Close. The what? The huh? I know one of y'all is saying drums, so that's right. Okay, we got the piano, the bass, the drums. What else do we have? In the rhythm section. What's in the rhythm section? What? I can't shout louder. I can't hear you. Okay, now let this be a good lesson to you. Listen, let me tell you something. The louder you shout, the less you can be heard. I want one person to tell me, what is the last rhythm? Who said guitar? You're a trombone player. It's guitar. This is the rhythm section. Drums, bass, piano, guitar. Now let's see about Count Basie's swing. When Basie built his own rhythm section, he started with the great Walter Page on the bass, Joe Jones on the drums, Freddie Green on the guitar, and himself on the piano. They became known as the All-American Rhythm Section. Everybody called them that because they were masters of the blues, of tempo, of balance, of clarity, and they didn't try to drown each other out and shout over each other. They played in balance, and it's very difficult because this type of rhythm section playing consists of 4 people covering all 4 beats of a measure. Now, what is a measure? It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Let me hear y'all count these measures. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3. No, only 12. We only have 12 numbers on the clock. It's only 12 bars of blues. When we get to 12, we start again. Okay, now let's see about this rhythm section. There's a lot of give and take in the rhythm section, but all 4 members are going to cover all of these beats. First, we start with the bass. Before Count Basie's rhythm section, they would play on beats 1 and 3. Let's see what that's like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, don't clap to it. We're gonna clap later. Wait, don't clap. Don't clap. I want y'all to learn how to listen to music without clapping to it. Okay, I'm gonna send y'all back to school. Don't clap to it. Don't clap to it. Don't clap to it. Listen to it. If you wanna do something, count on 1 and 3. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the bass. Now let's see what the drums are talking about. The drummer would play the bass drum on 1 and 3 with the bass. So the bass drum will go. Bass drum. And then you play the snare drum on 2 and 4. And then he would mess around with the cymbals every now and then, doing whatever he wanted. Now the piano would play the stride with the left hand and cover all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, Okay, you see we're building it up. And finally the guitar would play, I heard it, the guitar would play on all 4 beats. Okay, now this was okay, but this was not the sound that Count Basie was looking for. To create the all-American swing sound, Joe Jones, our drummer, Joe Jones, in this case Ali Jackson, began to play all 4 beats in rhythmic variations on the cymbal, sock cymbal. Let's see about that. Walter Page began walking the bass on all 4 beats and in an 8-beat cycle. Uh-oh, you hear it? It's starting to sound different now. The guitarist, Freddie Green, just kept strumming on every beat. And Basie simplified the left-hand stride piano and created elegant melodies with the right hand. Together, they created 4/4 swing as we know it. Let's hear it for the rhythm section. Carlos Enriquez, James Chirillo, Ali Jackson, Dan Nimmer. Now, Basie's broadcast from the Reno Club caught the attention of musicians and listeners across the country. Here was something new and exciting and great. The genius saxophonist Lester Young heard it and came down to Kansas City to be part of it. So did record producer John Hammond. He decided to help Basie gain national prominence. Basie began to build up his orchestra with musicians from all over the country, and together as a big band, they hit the road. Musicians loved to play with Basie. First, because it was during the Depression and they were gonna get paid something. Not much. Ooh, I knew some musicians who played in Basie's band. They said they made $5 a week. Then they had a swing and rhythm section. If you want to keep musicians in a band, get a good rhythm section. And finally, because of Basie's relaxed way of playing and leading the band, the arrangements are often made up on the spot. When you make up an arrangement on the spot, we call it a head arrangement. And then they're perfected by an arranger over time. A head arrangement is fun to play because the music making is loose, and let's remember our word, spontaneity, is loose and it's spontaneous. It's like the best kind of jam session. Now, what is a head arrangement? Usually, a head arrangement is based on riffs. Can somebody tell me what a riff is? What is a riff? Yes. Boy, y'all are on top of it. How do y'all know so much stuff? I love that. That's right. A riff is a melody that is repeated over and over again. One person in a section will set a riff, then other people will harmonize it. Now, a good riff is snappy. It's like a snappy nugget, like a funny quip or a quick, insightful response. We're going to show you now how riffs are invented. Let's see. Let's start with the rhythm section. Now we're going to hear the trumpet section. Invent a riff. They're going to just make it up now. And then they're going to harmonize it. So one person will play the riff, and then the section will... See, they're getting their riff together now. Let's see. One person play and then harmonize it. Now they're going to harmonize it. Now we're going to have the saxophones join in with their own riff. Now we don't know what they're going to play. They just made this up. Let's hear it. Now we're going to add the trombones. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, now What y'all think about that? That wasn't bad. Now, Basie knew how to please audiences from all that he had learned accompanying movies as a young teen. We're going to show y'all now how we put together a head arrangement. So the rhythm section is going to start with one chorus. The trumpet section is going to play the riff. Greg is going to solo in the trumpet section, and the saxes are going to play a background. The sax section is going to play a riff. The sax solo with Walter is going to play with trombone backgrounds. The trombone section is going to riff with a piano solo. The trombone solo is going to be played by Elliot, and there's going to be no backgrounds, and then everybody's going to play together for one big loud shout chorus. Let's see about that. See if they can remember all of that. Greg Gisbert, Walter Blanding, Dan Nimmer, Elliot Mason. Okay, we made that one up. That was good. That's a head arrangement. Okay. Now, we talked about the rhythm section. We're going to conclude by talking about one other thing. The band was known for its soloists. A soloist was like a famous athlete is today. Duke Ellington had his, Benny Goodman had his, Count Basie had his soloist. In Count Basie's orchestra, there were two battling saxophonists. You heard a trumpet battle a little earlier. They were famous for their saxophone battles. They featured Lester Young, who was one of the most poetic musicians ever to live and the father of the modern cool, and Herschel Evans, who was another great tenor man whose style was gruffer and hotter. Those two men sat on opposite sides of the bandstand. Each had loyal fans that would stand on their side of the bandstand to cheer them on. Now, I think that the two gentlemen that are going to represent this have fans too, but you can't get on opposite sides of this bandstand. Victor and Walter are going to have at it, but you're going to hear two opposing styles of tenor saxophone. And we're going to demonstrate many of the things we talked about today. But before we play our final song, I have to ask you all some questions to make sure that you're qualified to leave here and go back to school. Where was Basie from? Where? What's the city in New Jersey? Ooh, what? Okay, what stride master taught Basie how to accompany films and play stride piano? What was his name? What? I can't hear y'all. Fats Waller, that's right. What was the name of the group led by Walter Page? What? Okay, I'm gonna get y'all with this one. What pianist led the most successful band in Kansas City? Who? I'm not asking you, I'm asking him. What? Benny Moten, that's right. Okay, what is the name of the arranger that invented the electric guitar and was a master of Midwestern swing? What? Say it. Who? Eddie Durham, that's right. Okay, what was the name of Basie's rhythm section? The what? The what? The All-American Rhythm Section. Okay, what is a short phrase that's repeated over and over again? What is that called? A what? Uh-huh. Okay. Y'all did okay. I'm not mad at y'all. What's some of our words we're gonna remember? Prohibition. What does it mean when something has been messed up? It has been what? It's been what? Huh? Corrupted, and corruption is something you're gonna have to fight your entire lives. Don't forget about it. What was the name of the mayor of Kansas City? Started with a P. Pendergast, okay. Now we're gonna send y'all home with a classic. This was Count Basie's theme song in the 1930s. I want y'all to listen for riffs. I want y'all to listen for how this started as a head arrangement. I want you to listen to the strong swing of the rhythm section. I want you to listen to Basie's piano, light, delicate touch. I want you to listen to the saxophones battling in their solos, and I want you to listen for that loud shout chorus at the end. Let's see. This is entitled The 1 O'Clock Jump, and it's been such a pleasure playing and talking to you all. Kalia Vanderveer, Walter Blandig, Victor Goins, Dan Nimmer. We are the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. Thank you all so much. It's been a great pleasure. Have a good day. Thank you. Take care.
La da da, bello, so da da da, been a